Hey guys, Ben here. We had to cut the podcast in half this week because it is such a chunky boy, and for some reason it wouldn't export properly, so I had to cut it in two. So here is the second part. And we're back. So, star players have arrived, and they've been really divisive in this edition of Blood Bowl. Some have been so overpowered and undercosted that Games Workshop themselves have added an element of balance in and adjusted how good they are. So, the Hackflem went up in price. Borg went up in price. Some tiers of teams changed, probably because of a heavy bit of star player use. So there is an element of fluctuation in Blood Bowl, and the meta itself has shifted as people have kind of learned how the edition rolls and things like that. So we thought we'd go and redo our star player power rankings. So we are going to list all the star players, and I realised that I put the giant in there as well. So the mercenary giant is going to be in there because in our tournaments you can take a mercenary giant as a star player basically. So because it's awesome. So he's in there as well. And we'll kind of just go through the 37 plus the giant star players that are kicking around now, and give them an appropriate power ranking to see where they stand. Now I've got my roster put together, and Milton and Ben are going to kind of jump in, talk about where they would have put it and how wrong I am, which is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll do 30 through 38 first, and do you know what, there is going to be no surprise for anybody here that Gretchen is my bottom place star player. In fact, when I ranked the star players, the first thing I did was flag them up 1 through 5, 5 being completely unplayable, and it was just Gretchen sitting there, just completely unplayable. I can't even remember what her stats are.
Because 7, 3, 2 plus, nothing, then 9 plus.
How much, Ben?
260k.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Just what?
You've got a movement 7 strength 3 piece with dodge, jump up as like the kind of more aggressive skills, but with no hands, shadowing sidestep. You're paying 260k for a player to be annoying.
She can add a strength to an agility test once per game.
Oh, so she can just dodge out a little bit better?
So she can 2 plus anywhere once per game.
Yeah, it's just not great.
Shadowing
movement 7's not terrible, but it's
to be fair, because she's got strip ball and block, it's awesome, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Neither of those skills. Do you know what? Yeah. If she was an Edge 2 plus dodge piece with block, strip ball, or something like that, but didn't have hands, so actually was the ultimate ghost in, knock the ball out, but can't do anything with it, awesome. Or if she was priced at 160k, this is really interesting. But unfortunately, Gretchen just does not cut it at all. And the only widow here is us as Blood Bowl players because,
yeah. Just like, I don't want to spend too much time because we've got 38 of these things to go through, but even if it was like her ability or something, what she had strip ball, her ability is once per game, she can change a dice roll to a push result.
Yeah, anything.
That would have been pretty cool because that guarantees you a strip ball.
I think you're missing the point though. I mean, she's a ghost. I don't remember Casper playing football. Like, she's not going to be very good, is she? Like, so I can see her being at the bottom.
Do you know what else has got no hands? The beer ball, and I would take a beer ball over 18 Gretchen Wachters, or sorry, 13. I would take a team of beer balls over Gretchen, and I'd win that game. Because I'd pitch clear her with beer balls. And the battle of no hands, many hooves win. Okay.
But you're right, she belongs at the bottom. I think undisputably she belongs right at the bottom.
This is the cool thing about these star players. It gets spicy from now. So number 37 on my list is Barrick Farblast. So Barrick is an interesting one, having skills that don't make sense, as in he's got strong arm, which is a skill he cannot use. And yeah, overall, just don't think he's particularly useful. Did you guys have any thoughts on Barrick being all the way down the bottom?
I wouldn't have placed them right where you did, which is like, barely better than Gridge. Well, actually, that's probably quite a big gap there. But yeah, I wouldn't have placed him, and that's purely because he's 80k with like 3 whole like teams he can take him, and sometimes it can be pretty handy to have a person who kind of can pass and hold his own.
No, it was so close. Like the model is awesome fun.
Really cool.
And but Hail Mary Pass got nerfed.
Pass no, I'm not saying that, but for pass sure hands on teams that don't have access to that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Take him on nobility. He's a better nobility thrower.
He's Edge 4+.
I'd so...
No, it's bad. If he was Edge 3, so originally when he landed, I was like, oh, sweet, Edge 3+ with sure hands. This is really useful. He can go on Ogre team and be a ball carrier. Like, this is absolutely great. Sure, he's got a secret weapon. But no, he's Edge 4+. So he just rocks up, has a skill he can't use, has Hail Mary, which is just offensive now because it got nerfed to, I don't know, somewhere. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, actually, when you're sure hands on a 4+ re-rolling, I'd probably just take the 3+.
Would
team re-roll.
Would you take him over Acorn? He's the same price, and all teams can use Acorn.
No. True. I would have put him in this category, but don't think I'd have put him at the bottom of it.
That's
because
fair.
he's 80k. 80k is fair.
I agree. Like 80k means you can slip him into a team somewhere.
You're
more likely to induce him than the others that are more expensive, and so
if you get 80k, he's secret weapon, so you don't even get a player for the entire time. You can take
secret. Okay, I missed that. Yeah, I take it back.
So it's better off to take a keg and a cheerleader or a cheer.
Why is he secret weapon? That's not a weapon. Like he doesn't use it like a weapon.
If you could why is it a secret weapon? He's got a cannon on him.
No, but if you could shoot someone with a cannon, then I take him.
I agree with you. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Milton.
No, I was just saying, I think I might have found Brother Zook proxy.
Number 36 for me was Frankenstein.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty useless, isn't he?
He's
so expensive.
Yeah. He comes in at 250k, movement 4,
strength 5,
edge
4+, edge, no passing, and a 10 armor value.
Yeah, he's got break tackle, which means he can dodge into the open on a 2+ once, which is something. So he's actually quite mobile, right? He's strength 5, so he gets +2. So he's got a 2+ dodge ability into the open. He's got mighty blow, he's got regen, he's got stand firm, thick skull, but he's 250k. And once per game, he gets an extra +1 to the injury roll, which is pretty useful. But he's got no block. For 250k, he's just...
I also think, he's got Old World Classic and Sylvanian Spotlight, and I don't think there are any teams in those two categories that really benefit from having him as a big guy.
Not compared to some of the other choices.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, we're just going to jump straight into one of those choices now, because the next one on my list at 35 was Skrorg Snowpelt. So new arrival to this list and not really making much of
pretty underwhelming
anything, because he sits in that category of being 250k, I think. Is he 250? Yeah, 250k. Movement 5, so he's faster than Frank. Strength 5, same. Edge 4+, same. Claws, Disturbing Presence, Juggernaut, Loner, and Mighty Blow. So he's got Claws and Mighty Blow, and he does have Juggernaut, which is a combat skill, but that's it. And he's got the ability once per game. If he causes a casualty, you get a reroll for the rest of the drive.
So situational compared to like Borak, who just gives you one, right?
Yeah, that's what we assumed it was going to be, right? We're like, wicked. He turns up, he pumps up the defense, and he gets a reroll. That's just awesome. No, and he's a Yeti, and he doesn't have frenzy. And I know that from the stories, it's because he went to anger management, and like,
is that true?
That is basically true. Yes, he was too angry, so they sent him away to get Zen, and he came back, and now he's like Yeti Zen. So he's all right. Like, if you had to have a star player and you got allocated Skrorg for free, he'd be great. Like, fine, cool. But to choose him at 250k, I don't think he's a good upgrade for a Yeti. And I think that's kind of where he sits. So, awesome model. And the great thing is you can just use this model as a big guy on your team. Chaos Renegades, you got an Ogre model. A sweet Ogre model, right? Do what you like with him. It's a great model, but you can pass on the star. Okay, this one might be a bit contentious to some people because it's quite a popular dude. At 24, sorry, not 24, 34, we got Zolcath the Zote. So I was super excited when the Zotes returned. I was like, this is going to be amazing. 230k, 5/5, 4+, 5+, 10+, Disturbing Presence, Juggernaut, Mighty Blow, Prehensile Tail, Regeneration, Sure Feet, and he gets Hypno Gaze once per game.
It's so boring. Why Hypno Gaze? Like, I get the theme of it, but like, Edge 4+, like, you don't want to ever do that. It's really not fun.
No.
And 230k for his stats is just really underwhelming with no like defensive skills on a big guy at 230k.
Yeah, he's sort of okay. And then when you look at the fact that he's on Elven Kingdoms and Lustrian Super League, again, it's sort of like, where do you place him in among those teams?
So this is it. This is a redeeming quality, is that he is probably one of the only star players for Lisbon.
Yep.
So taking him as an upgrade to a Croxagore, if you need to, is okay. He's got Jugs, so he's a little bit more reliable. He's got Loner, which is the same. He doesn't have a Nega trait, which is good. He's still got Prehensile Tail. He's still got Mighty Blow. He's got Sure Feet, so he's almost the same speed as a Croxagore. If you have to take a star player on a Lizardman team, Zolcath, you could do worse, and he's not going to kill you. But I don't know. I thought he was just fine.
I love his model.
The model's
I
great.
think it's great. But yeah,
great.
I've never seen him.
Okay, next up, talking to Elven star players, I have put... oh, no, I haven't. I've skipped one ahead. It's Varag Ghoul-Chewer at 33. But
I really wish he was better. I think he's a great mini, and you know, like up until yeah, he's iconic, and up until recent, you know, he comes in the box set as well. So, and you know, up until recently, the Badlands Brawl, the Orc teams and stuff had very small pool of star players.
Yeah.
Until we recently got Bomber and Fungus, but yeah, I like really struggle. I mean, there's very little to pick in that pool that was good, and he's so overpriced for what he does.
I played against him at your victorious tournament, and 280 is just so much for what he does. You know, Movement 6, Strength 5 is a great combo, and he does have block, right? Block, Jump Up, Mighty Blow +1, and Thick Skull. Like, it's a good package, but it's probably if he was 220,
yeah,
same as Zug, then you'd be like, yeah, okay, this is wicked. Like, this guy's great.
Yeah.
But 280, you're giving up everything for that. You're giving up that's Griff level cash.
Well, I feel like he's priced at 280 because he's in the box with Griff. And it's like a mirror, isn't it?
He is like the offensive Griff.
He's the Orc Griff. He's the offensive Griff.
And if he was Edge 2+, then yeah, sure.
No. But like, I mean, he goes way hard on strength, whereas Griff goes hard on speed.
Yeah.
And they're both strength, but like, obviously he's more. And I would have actually placed this guy quite a bit higher. I've seen him run in tournaments, and I've seen him on like a Goblin team, or sorry, no, what's the one?
Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld team, I think it was. Yeah, Underworld team or Black Orc team. And yeah, and him actually really pull his weight. Like, because as an upgrade to a troll, he is huge, especially if you're comparing it to like Zolcath. You've now got a guy who moves fast, has the strength, no nega traits, with block, has agility, so he can even dodge and carry the ball if he needs to. I think he's pretty good with like a +2 Mighty Blow. Yeah,
previously I think I ranked him sort of C tier. I don't think he was quite in the bottom pool.
Yeah.
He just cussed up above that.
Next on my list was Willow Rosebark, so 32 on my roster. Willow is 150k, movement 5, strength 4, edge 3+, Dauntless, Loner, Sidestep, and Thick Skull. And when successfully using Dauntless once per game, can increase her strength characteristic to double that of the opponent's. Now, I believe it's got to be more than double to get a 3-die block, isn't it? So with 1 assist once per game, she will 3-die block you. with no skills. So 150k look, is a really good price point for a strength 4 player for an elf team. But I think she's just too mid range. Like, if elves need murder, then they need murder. What we're getting here is a blocker with no skills. For elves only. If she could still be used for halflings, she'd be great. If she had halfling thimble cup, then actually you could see her being used as a cheap Carla, and that would be great. But for elves, a bit of strength is really useful, but this is not enough strength for it to make a difference if you've got an elf team and 150k, because your opponent is running something better than you at that point.
Yeah, there's nothing really to utilize the strength. You're just getting a good number of dice.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
And wood elves, for example, if you want strength, you just take a tree man for 30k less than this for, just much better stats.
Oh, shame she's passing 6+. I don't really understand that one.
I know.
Weird.
Looks like a thrower.
So coming in at 31 on my list of star players is a non-star player. I put the mercenary giant at this point. I would rather have a mercenary giant than Varag, than Zolcath, than Skrorg, than Willow, than Frank, than Barak, and Gretchen.
Oh, they were fun though. They were fun. I was about to say just like, I'd probably take Barak over that, but nah, the giant's fun.
Yeah. Multiple block, mighty blow +2, strength 7.
Good movement.
Dominating. Absolutely dominating. Giants are amazing, and we need more of them in the Blood Bowls. And then at number 30, I had a team of players that I think are just too expensive to get to the pitch, which is the Swift Twins.
I would have put these above Gretchen. Just one above Gretchen.
Wow. Because of the price?
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate that they're so expensive for an elf team. Like, these will never ever be picked. Ever.
You can run a tournament roster with 11 elves on a pro elf team, 660, and these guys for 1 million and then 2 rerolls.
It's so boring though. I'm sorry if you really want to do that. I just don't. I don't gel with that. That's just.
All right, all of these star players,
fun.
they've all got an angle. It's either thematic, or they got a cool skill set, or they can do something. Do you know what? At 1300 with an elf team, these guys are bombing. And in a league, if you take the Swift Twins because you are down 500,000 gold, they are going to help. But I'm not convinced.
But it's the same as, to me, this running these in your elf team is like the equivalent of some like boss whose team developed this amazing like application, and then him being like, I developed this. It's just like, yeah, you can like, you bring these guys along, they do everything for you, and then you take credit because you just brought them along. And it's like, no, if you build your team, it's your team then. But if you bring on the Swift Twins to do all the shenanigans for you, and you just run 11 L's because it's cheap, then you're like a penny pinching CEO.
That is oddly specific.
Hiring the offshore
so
experts.
That is my bottom quarter, basically, of the star players. And then we'll move on to the 20s. So 29, I feel bad because I love this character. I've got the White Dwarf at 29.
Yeah, I don't remember ever. He's so forgettable. I'm sorry if people really love this guy.
He comes in the pack, doesn't he, with the Goblin guy?
Yeah, he does.
The Black Goblin, yeah. White Dwarf, the Black Goblin.
I love the model. I love the White Dwarf as a character, as a concept, and he does some cool stuff.
I mean, he's a dwarf, so
210k dwarf stats, so 5'3", 3, 4, 10. Block, Dauntless, Mighty Blow, Stand Firm, Thick Skull. And this one's so it's got an interesting power, and I like this. Once per team turn, when one of Grumbrindle's teammates that is in an adjacent square is activated, that player gets either Break Tackle, Dauntless, Mighty Blow, or Sure Feet.
Wow. Okay.
So pretty cool, but at 210, I think he costs himself out because he's strength 3. If he was strength 4 at 210 with that ability, boom.
Great pick.
Because you know what? On the turns that you can't use his ability, he's going to make a difference. And sweet, my fail case here is I've got a strength 4 blocker. Sadly, not the case. The fail case here is you've got a dwarf blocker who doesn't have tackle
10K.
at 3 times the cost. So
yeah,
it's cool, and there are some great builds, and there are going to be some times where you're like, yeah, and then Grombrindle said, Ulfwerener, why don't you aim for the soft spot underneath his left armpit? Like the resolution of every Alien movie ever. Oh, you know what? If we shoot them in the chest, they'll die. Can't believe we've not been doing that the entire time. Thanks, Grombrindle. And then all of a sudden, they got Mighty Blow. That's cool, and it's going to work. But I just don't think he's worth... he just, 29 for me for that reason.
Yeah, I think he's fair place there.
Okie dokie. The next one on the roster for me was Roxana Darknail.
Oh man, I'm not a big fan of her. She's kind of like a bit of like a pumped up witch, isn't she? And she's just a bit too expensive for what you get. I mean, you think 10k more, you're looking at Griff. I know it's not the same pool, but she really that comparable for 10k less?
That's what Dark Elves already do, just a bit better.
Yeah, exactly. And you've already got most of those skills on your team.
That is the challenging thing here about all of the Elf Star players, I think. And she is brilliant. She is really good. And in the old edition, she was an absolute powerhouse, like an absolute flipping powerhouse with Amazons, because they were cheap enough to let her be on the roster. With Elves, really a struggle to get her on the roster. At 270k, right, okay, her stats are awesome. Movement 8, agility 1+, dodge, frenzy, jump up, juggernaut, leap. Once per game, you may attempt to rush 3 times. So that doesn't really matter, but I mean, movement 8, edge 1+, leap. She's fantastic. It's just because of the way the new star players rank, fitting her. She's only really slightly cheaper than the Swift twins, who we kind of said is never getting into a team without you not taking the team, which I think is basically what you just said, Ben. It is sort of a shame, because although she was the kind of boogeyman in the last edition when it came to star players, so she's still great. And if you are in a league and you've got 270k and you take her, then it gives you a really good chance to win. But
really, I just think, she's another fragile elf. She doesn't have any sort of like defensive statistics, and she's on an 8+ armor value. I could just see her getting wiped out in like very quick time if you're not very careful.
She's very expensive compared to some other stars out there, shall we say, foreshadowing our way through this. Okay, next up for me is
Borak.
Lord Borak at 27. What does Lord Borak do, guys?
He is strength 5, edge 3+, passing 5+, armor 10+, block dirty player, loner, mighty blow, sneaky get. With a reroll, 260k.
Okay, I think Borak is awesome. The character is awesome, and the fact that he comes with a reroll makes him really good. But he is 260k. He's strength 5 block, which is really good. Dirty player +2 is going to come in handy more often than you think. And he gets a team reroll for the first half of the game. If you don't use it, you get the team reroll for the second half of the game. He's really good. If you run Borak and you can fit him in your team, he's really good. It's just, I don't know if he is so much better than the big guy that you already get on your Chaos team.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do think he is good. This is the
especially
point.
Tournament setting, because you can give that big guy block most likely, and then it becomes the same.
Yeah, I think this is the point at which, in my opinion, the star player list starts to turn. Roxy's great, but you have to give up everything. Lord Borak is great, but you have to give up everything as well. But if you can take him, he will make a difference, I think. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I don't know. He's very flavorful, isn't he? And like, I'd actually quite like to pull him into a team and play with him at some point. He does look like he's good fun, but you're right. He's just, in a tournament setting, you can just skill up
an ogre,
big guy, an ogre or something, and just give him a skill or two, and he'd be just as good and not cost anywhere near as much.
Borak is good, but at 260, which I think is probably about fair. I just think it's that classic thing of like, Elf Lady is great, but she's just elfing more on elfin teams, and this guy's great, but he's just chaosing more on chaos teams. Which sadly could be said very much of the same of the next player, which is Scylla and Fingrim. So when it comes to Scylla, Scylla is a new. They landed in Spike 13, I think, and it was a bit of a surprise. Scylla was kicking around in the old edition though, which was pretty good. So it was nice to see Scylla back. Can I find the stats for Scylla? Here we go. So Scylla. No, those are the old edition stats.
It's 5 movement, 5 strength, 4+ edge, no PA, 10+ AV, claws, frenzy, loner 4+, mighty blow +1, prehensile tail, thick skull, unchanneled fury, and the special rule fury of the blood god.
I like the special rule. That's if you fail if you fail animal savagery, or unchanneled fury, I think as it's called now. And you're in base contact with 2 dudes, you can block 2 dudes instead of 1 dude, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That is pretty good.
Protects you against that.
How much was Scylla again, mate? Was it 250?
He's 200. No, he's 200.
200. Okay, so you know what? You're getting a cool big guy for 200k with mighty blow and claws, yeah, and frenzy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean. So I rate him. I think he's possibly belongs a little bit higher than this.
You know what? Maybe on that one. I think he's good, and I think what made me put a bit of a damper on him is that he's not much better than a blood beast. But actually, if you're taking him in a silo, like actually, he's a great addition to a Renegades team. Like imagine running 4 big guys, including this dude, like 1200 TV. You take a 3 big guy lineup and Scylla, and just unleash the carnage. Now, one thing I haven't considered is the fact that 200k you can take Scylla on a Norse team. So for 1200, you got a Norse team plus Scylla, who is just a mega yeti.
Yeah, that is true.
That is, yeah.
There you go. This is take the Skrorg Snowpelt model and just use Siddle's rules. £40 for the model, though. I think.
Yeah.
I think
socks,
I'd probably have like
socks. It's all about the socks.
Oh, I love the socks, and we did see a really cool conversion on Whit Wednesday this week, which was this model with a rat ogre head.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, wow!
It was so good. It was so good. I was like,
tail.
Yeah, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, Scylla is a great star player, but I had them ranked a little bit low. So next up was Skrull.
Skrull Half-Height.
Skrull Half-Height. So Skrull Half-Height is a rulebook dude as well.
So he's 6 movement, 3 strength, 4 AG, 4+ AG, 4+ passing, 9+ AV, accurate, loner 4+, nerves of steel, pass, regeneration, sure hands, thick skull, and his special rule is strong passing game for 150k.
So I really, really like Skrull. And we are like, this is the great thing is all of these star players now I really like, and they do cool stuff. So Gary, got to mention Gary. This is why I'm using my Gary mug today. Thank you for the mug, Gary. Awesome. Skrull, 150k. He's edge 4+, sure. He's sure hands, sure. Which I know that we kind of dissed old Cannon Arm, Barrack Farblast for, but Barrack Farblast is only around for 1 drive, where Skrull is around for the entire game, and is actually, I think, a bit faster at moving. With a 4+ passing, nerves of steel and pass, he is a 4++ quick pass anywhere, which is not great. World's Edge Super League, which means he's only playing for Chaos Dwarves and Dwarves. Sylvanium Spotlight, which means you get actually a thrower-ish for an undead team. And this is something that Gary did. I think he ran undead maybe or necro, but had a catch ghoul, and his entire mission was to use Skrull to just boot the ball up and get a touchdown. And I think he nearly pulled it off as well.
Yeah,
now,
not quite if I remember.
Yeah, 150k for a dude with sure hands, but it's edge 4+. I think he's so close, but what he delivers on is he gives you something you don't have in that roster.
Yeah, though I think there's a lot to be said for the story you just told, where if someone took him deliberately to pull off this one game plan which he's meant to do and struggled, maybe he's not great.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Well, yeah, fair enough.
Like, would you take that if that was? Yeah, I don't rate him.
I think at Edge 3 Plus, he'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's definitely his downfall.
Edge 3 Plus, he would be a great
I don't
opportunity
think that
to
would fix
sneak.
him.
I'd get a nice piece of shore hands in there. If he was, okay, Edge 3 Plus passing 3 Plus, dude would be awesome.
I'd take the passing more than the edge, I think, because the short hands kind of covers you on that one thing. Passing generally is a bit harder. But yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know.
So, I've just copied instead of pasted. What an absolute muggle. Here we go. Engage. Next up on my power playlist is Grim Ironjaw. We are deep into dwarf territory. So, Grimothy here. 200k, strength 5, movement 5, strength 4, edge 3 plus, block, dauntless, frenzy, multi-block, thick skull, and once per game when an opposition player with a strength of 5 or more is knocked down as a result of a block's action performed by Grim, you get +1. So basically, if once per game, if he knocks down a big guy, he gets mighty blow for that one block. I like Grim as a blocker. 200k is quite a lot, but actually it is in the realm of affordability now, and he sits in that strength 4 category. So maybe not for dwarves. So let's ignore dwarves, right? Because they very rarely take a star player because they can't afford it, because dwarves never die. But halflings, ogres, humans, 200k, you've got access to a strength 4 frenzy blocker. He actually fills a good role, and he's got multiple blocks. So if you're supported, then he can actually have 2 cracks at a block. But I think you're better off just leaning on the, go for a 4-die block with him instead of 2 1-die blocks or whatever. But having block keeps him safe. Having dauntless is going to be useful every now and again. And he's a flipping troll slayer, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a bit situational, isn't he? I mean, he's not bad, but 200k for...
I do really like him. I really want to give him a go. A lot of fun.
I agree. I think he's good, which is why I put him in his 20s, I guess. Now, the next star player on my list was Acorn the Squirrel. And Acorn is an excellent piece of tech. Does anybody have the stats for Acorn?
80k, 7 movement, 1 strength, 2 edge, 2+ edge. No passing, 6+ armor, claws, dauntless, dodge, frenzy, jump up, loner, 4+, no hands, sidestep, stunty, titchy, and his special rule is blind rage.
So I love him because for 80k, all right, he's no hands. He is the ultimate meme star player, right? Right?
He is, and do you know what? He's one of the ones on your list where I would arguably have put him higher.
I'd have put him higher.
I would have put him considerably higher. I think at 80k, he's just such a win, and he's so much fun. He's very easy to get a mini of. There's lots of options out there, and with all those, yes, he's not got great armor value. Yes, he's fairly easily removable, but that going into the game, and you play him right, and he can do so much. He could be so much fun.
He gets many, many points for being fun here, and really, really affordable.
And it's really fun that his ability is all the time, rather than once per game. It's just every time he uses it.
He's just an absolute dude, and for 80k, you can take him on a team that doesn't normally get a star player, which gives you a whole bunch of cool modeling opportunities and a whole bunch of cool roster opportunities. Even a Norse team could afford this guy, but you can take him on dwarves, and he's just like this. He's just like this tiny slayer. In fact, I think one great way to represent Acorn would be to get a 10mm or a 15mm troll slayer model and just be like, this is my Acorn. Because he's just tiny and psychotic. He doesn't have hands because he's got axes. It's just brilliant. In fact, Demon World do great 15mm dwarf frenzy dudes. That's actually quite a fun little idea. But do you know what? That is a fun bit of inspiration caused by his rules because he's affordable, because he's runnable, because there is an upside, even if it is in the realm of optimism, I think, because he could be very quickly destroyed. But, I like him. I think he's great. I think he shows good character. Good character. Next up on the list was, we've talked about him already today, so we don't have to put in too much stress on this one. I put Thorson Stoutmead at 22. You know what? 170k makes him pretty affordable as far as star players go. And I kind of thought, you know what? For a league, 170k, that is achievable. Quite achievable for a Norse team. That's reasonably achievable. And is he going to do stuff to help you win that game? Yes, his 3+ ability is going to help. It's not going to win the game for you, but it's going to help. And does he give you something fun and a different way to play if you want to run him as your primary in a tournament build? Yes, he does. So I don't think he's OP. I don't think he's massively, powerful. He's a build around B, right? You can build your team around him and it's going to be fun and it's going to do something different. But it is going to be easier to do than the same thing with Scroll, basically.
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then we're sticking with Norse territory here. 21, I've got Ivar Eriksson.
After what you said, I'm surprised he's not lower.
Yeah, he's...
What, Ivar or Thorson?
Ivar.
But both of them, for me, I would have thought they would have come in a bit lower, but Ivar definitely.
Yeah, you know what? That's a fair shout. I think he probably... Oh, it's really difficult. I think he's...
There may be those games, like what we said earlier, there may be those games where he really shines and his ability comes in and it kind of wins you the game. I think there could be like those games with Ivar. I think he has more of like a stretch play potential than Thorson. Thorson seems quite like reliable, and that's why I like him being like in the middle of this list, because it seems like he can just throw a barrel every drive and just, do some damage, cause some carnage, and he's quite cheap. Ivar, you do pay more, but he can pull out some really handy stuff. Sometimes the extra blitz you're getting in the game, in the drive, could come in really handy.
I think you guys are probably right. I think he should be down there, probably with Lord Borak in the land.
I'd say that's probably about right.
That's probably about it.
I think expensive, situational, but could pull it out for you.
I think I'd rather have Scylla than Ivar.
Yeah, definitely. I would 100%.
Yeah, Scylla gives you some real meat. So that is my 20s. Then number 20 itself is an old school staple. Glart Smash Rip 2017. Yeah, Paul Glart Clawcop.
I feel like you ranked him really lowly last time, Ben.
Me?
Was it you?
Yeah, I think
it was me. I put him in D tier.
Was it you put him D tier?
Yeah.
195k, movement 5, strength 4, edge 4 plus, block, claw, grab, jugs, stand firm, and he gets frenzy once per game when he blitzes. The guy is toolkit. 200k basically, so 195k, you get a strength 4 block claw piece that gets frenzy once per game. And
I like this guy a lot.
I think I massively underrated him the last time we looked at star players.
Yeah, what was your list? I was like, but Ben, you ranked him as A tier last time. So.
Yeah.
Good. He's Skaven. I would have felt really bad if I'd...
you know what? For 195k, he is pretty decent. Like, you can't... He's not, he's not amazing, but he's pretty decent. And I would actually like to play a game with him, I think. He looks pretty fun.
He's cool in Underworld. I've seen him on Underworld and he is really cool.
Yeah, he does real good stuff. He's okay as a bruiser for Skaven, but 200k is kind of it's quite a bit. Now we're kind of transitioning through the tiers as we go on this star player list. Like we've gone into the 20s, which are affordable, they're good, they do stuff. Now we're into the kind of like the top 20. They're good, right? Glart is good, solid. If you take Glart, it's like, oh yeah, cool, yep, okay, yeah, get it. I understand why you've taken Glart here. The next star player, I don't know if either of you guys have got the rules for this dude, because again, I can't remember where I put my Khorne thing, but it is the mighty Minotaur, Blackhoof himself.
Yeah.
Movement 6, strength 6, edge 4+, no passing, and armor 9+. He's got frenzy horns, mighty blow, thick skull, unchanneled fury, and then loner. And he gets a once per game blitz. When he performs a blitz, he may roll an additional block dice against the opposition, regardless of their strength.
This guy is a tank.
And he gets that on both the blocks if it's frenzy.
Yeah,
it's frenzy.
It's just an auto 6-die block. Now he's got mighty blow, right? And he's movement 6, strength 6.
With horns.
So he's already strength 7 all of the time. But he does have unchanneled fury, right?
He does. Yeah.
So he is. This is the tag. Like if this guy was like he was in the old edition, he had no negatry. So he's actually been downgraded. But there is no stronger star player in this game than Blackhoof. And
yeah, he's the big guy slayer, right?
This guy is the ultimate cruise missile. Like, just you point him at anybody. This guy can deck Morg once per game. Anyway.
Deep root.
Yeah, this guy will tank somebody.
6-die block deep root.
Yeah,
just for fun.
I love it. It is amazing. How much is he? 260?
240.
240. Okay, so he is in the pricey range, and he only plays for the Chaos teams. But, dude, would you take a Minotaur at 150 or this guy at 240 in a build where you got the choice?
I'd take this guy if I had the cash. Yeah, for sure.
The downside is how expensive he is, and the teams that can take him are not cheap teams, right? Milton, you're just running Chaos. Chaos is still quite an expensive team. You cannot get everything.
Renegades can be cheap.
Horrendously so. But
Renegades,
you can build a cheap Renegades team.
And I think that now we've got the Khorne option as well. There's a good way to get him in there with 50k linemen. So
Nurgle can be quite cheap with him.
Yeah, but
but you'll lose because you're not.
Yeah. Oh, poor Nurgle. Anyway, I love Blackhoof. There's no model for him yet, which means you get to pick and choose your own Minotaur model, and I'm a bit of a Minotaur model connoisseur now. So I could probably have a whole team of Blackhoofs. I think my Windsor Chog one is probably my little favourite.
He's cool.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed painting him as well with my little blue tinge on black. Really enjoyed that. That was cool. Okay, next up at number 18 is Eldril Sidewinder. So a top 20 elf star player here, 230k, movement 8, strength 3, edge 2+, some other stuff, catch, dodge, loner 4+, nerves of steel, on the ball, and hypnogaze. And once per game, he can reroll a failed agility when rolling hypnogaze. So I rank Eldril high. As an elf player, he brings a lot. 230 is expensive, but if you think about what you get from old Stickface Willow, for like less than 100k, you get twice the movement. And basically, this guy will help your team win games. Movement 8 is going to be great. That hypnogaze means that once per game, you get that ability to re-roll it as well. So you can just walk up, take away the side of a cage, and then actually go in there and do some damage with somebody else.
With 2 blitzers.
Yeah. Or you just hand off the ball to him, and on a 2++, he then gets to run around with 8 movement.
Yeah, and he's with nerves, like you can kind of do that anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's really cool. I really like him as well. He's still expensive for elves, but you do get a lot for your money, and he does more interesting things. He's not just got like one game plan, like you say. You can kind of use him.
That extra angle there with hypnogaze is really useful. But the cool thing is about this, and the struggle with star players is loner, right? Well, he's got catch and he's got dodge, and what you're going to be doing with him? You're going to be dodging him around, and you're going to be handing
hypnogaze, which you can reroll as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of skirts that. So actually, Eldril is really good. You are bang on the money. He is expensive, but he is really good. As are my number 17, which is Grak and Crumbleberry. I love this combination. 250k, you get an ogre with kick teammate, and you get a halfling with sure hands. For 80k more than Barrack, I don't know. For 80k more than Scroll or whatever, you get a whole ogre free. I love Gracken Crumbleberry. 250k is prohibitive, but what you get out of it is a whole different element of your game plan. You run an undead team, and now all of a sudden, not only do you have another big guy, but you have a throw teammate play. Well, kick teammate technically, but you have a sure hands stunty dodge piece, which you didn't have before. And that stunty star player is, he's got loner, but he's got dodge and he's got sure hands. And if the two things you want him to do are pick up the ball and dodge around, well, you've got those rerolls in there already. And it comes with an ogre. And an ogre is never a bad thing. I love this combination. Any team can take it. Any team can have a big hitter and a throw teammate. And this is really interesting because you can take Roxana Darknail at 270k, or you can take an ogre and a sure hands and a halfling for 20k less.
Yeah, these really dominated like the early rosters, especially when the edition came out. It was pretty much like, right, here's the roster and here is the Gracken Crumbleberry roster.
Yeah, I think they're kind of just a staple, aren't they, now?
I think they're brilliant. I really do. I played against them at Sand Bowl as well with an Orc team. Wicked. Absolutely wicked. Basically as an upgrade for Troll. And it came with a free halfling with sure hands. Which is not to be sniffed at because there are a bunch of teams out there that do not have sure hands as an integral skill. And actually that Khemri, Kraken Crumbleberry on a Khemri team, drop a Tomb Guardian, he becomes Tomb Guardian 4, and you get a 3+ sure hands piece with dodge. Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely great fun. Okay. I also love that. We're in the territory of star players I love now. So what number are we on, BT?
We are on number 18.
Oh,
is that right?
16.
16.
16.
Excel.
Glorial Summer Bloom.
Yeah. Oh, so
love Glorial.
Me too.
Where are you? Where are you, Glorial?
7 movement, 2 strength, 2+ edge, 2+ PA, 8+ AV, accurate dodge, loner 3+, pass, sidestep, sure hands, and shot to nothing.
What a stat line. How do they price these? Because she's 150.
Strength 2.
Crazy.
Oh, who cares about strength 2 when everything else is 2?
Right. The fact that she's loner 3+ as well is great. But the really fun thing here is what the heck are you using a team reroll on? Because she's got accurate pass and pass, so she's 1+ quick passing with a reroll. She's got dodge, so she's 2+ dodging with a reroll, and she's got sure hands, so she's 2+ picking up the ball with a reroll on your elf team. If you need help and you know who to call, and if you can find them, well, it's just Glorial. You take Glorial. 150k.
She's like evidently like the best Elven Kingdoms League star, right?
But
there's no way anything else even comes close to her.
She is adding just more elf to your elf though. So I hear you like elf
a
when
lot
you
of elf. Like Wood Elves,
it's a lot of elf for the price.
Yeah, Wood Elves miss that thrower hard. Like this enables the Wood Elf throwing game again.
She's great. Absolutely great. Love it. There's a bunch of good models out there for her as well. I still love my Windsor Chog.
I should say the Wood Elf thrower is good, but the Wood Elf throwing game that of days of old, she enables that again.
Well, the Wood Elf throwing game of days of old was War Dancers throwing, which is why everyone hated War Dancers quite so much. Okay, we've got a triple decker here of Chainsaw Madmen. So my number 15, I put Bryce the Slice Cambule. So this is a Spike 12 dude. And then at 14, I've got Max Spleen Ripper. And then at 13, I've got Helmut Wolf. They're all great star players. They're all 130, 140k, and they all chainsaw people in various ways. I don't know. There's not a huge amount in it between them for me.
No.
With the exception of Helmut. Let me just double check this.
Helmut's ability, I can't remember what it is, but it's quite good, isn't it?
Once per game, he may use his pro skill to reroll a single dice rolled as part of the armor roll. Yeah. So I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's really good. Max is good too, and can double chainsaw once per game. Which is pretty fun.
I think you've done fair here, where they kind of all sit together. I mean, they all serve a similar function. They're just different flavors of the same function, aren't they?
And about the same price level.
Yeah. only 10k in it, and actually that 10k for that skill is probably worth it. But then, like, equally, you might be running a chaos team or an undead team, and you don't have that extra 10k to spend, so the others are just perfectly good options too.
Exactly. You can downgrade a little bit for that extra 10k, still get a chainsaw, or run 270 and run 2 chainsaws like an absolute savage. I love it. It takes us down to number 12, which is where I have put, I think you guys used the phrase a second ago, a staple of the format, and that is Deep Root Strong Branch here. So Deep Root is an absolute tank. Movement 2, strength 7, got some other stuff, but block, loner 4+, mighty blow +2, stand firm, strong arm, thick skull, throw teammate, timber, and if he fumbles a throw teammate, the dude just goes back into his original place. Yeah,
that's really nice.
He's great, isn't he? Like,
yeah, you see Deep Root, you know what he's going to do, and he's going to do it pretty well.
And you see him pretty often too, because you could fit him in easily into and around the Huffling teams. And so,
even though he's expensive, it's actually kind of odd though, isn't it? Because he's expensive and he does what trees really do, really, just a bit better.
Mighty blow +2 is not to be sniffed at. But I tell you what, if I had the choice between Deep Root and a giant, if I could afford both, I would probably go with a giant.
I would too.
But Deep Root is better. He's got block. He is cheaper. He's got good, if not great, throw teammate ability. He's passing 3+ basically for throw teammate, which is brilliant. Like, this guy gives you the best opportunity to throw teammate, and he does a great job. And Mighty Blow +2 is a real chonker.
I think, the fact that he doesn't root makes him that much more reliable.
Yeah, there's no nega trait.
There is nothing worse than watching a halfling team turn 1, turn 2, take root, and then that's it, and they've got nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
But he just takes that away, doesn't he? And then he gives you what you want out of the tree and more.
Yes, that movement 2 is fair,
pretty brutal,
is correct, but yeah, it's not good. Like, Deep Root does some good stuff, but that movement 2 means he is infinitely player roundable. And if you get caught by him, you are in a whole world of hurt. But he's reasonably easy to escape, so he's not brilliant in that regard. But he's still top 12. Number 11 is finally coming out soon enough, which is Rumbelow Sheepskin. Now, guys, you talked about Rumbelow earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's great. I really like the new mini too. I'm a big fan of that.
The new mini has got a ton of character.
Yeah, I mean, again, 170k, all of his skills, comparable to some of the other stars on the list, I think.
Gives you a fairly cheap, reliable strength 4 blitzer and a halfling team, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
well, it's on an anything team, and he's got tackle. This is the huge thing about him here, is that for 170, it gives you a counter to your opponent's top scorers, because this guy's giving 2 die block, ignoring dodge, and comes with that block ability that makes him reliable. So he's got reasonable enough movement. Was he movement 5 or 6?
Movement 6.
Right, movement 6 then, and he blitzes at strength 4 with block, with tackle. It's just an excellent safety that anybody can take, and 170k makes him a really, really, really good toolkit piece. He's in that kind of cheap-ish star player, like affordable star player, and he fulfills a really good role. Rumbelow is a brilliant star.
I've seen him a lot, and he definitely deserves to be where he is on that list. I think there are obviously some better than him, but he sits right there. That was where I would have put him.
Yeah. Also the Juggernaut takes out Wrestler as well, so even if they have that, it's like still going down.
Even better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes me to my top 10, guys. This is where I imagine things are going to get a little bit more contentious, and we'll smash through these. Number 10 for me, I had Old Zuggle Bear, Mighty Zug. who I think is a little bit just, it kind of floats around in the world of Zug is just.
I ran Zug in a tournament and I had actually a decent amount of success with him. He kind of got a bit outshined by someone above him, which we'll get to. But he just as an ogre upgrade, you can't really go wrong with him. He is reliable.
Movement 4, strength 5, block, mighty blow for 220k.
Yeah, if you've got the extra money, he's actually pretty solid. No bells and whistles. Does what you need him to do.
You can run him with lizards as well.
He can play for anybody, can't he? Oh no, he's old world and lizard people. So
Thimble.
I think you called it out there, Ben. Zug is an upgrade for 70k for an ogre to come with no nega trait and block. And that is an absolute bargain, right? An ogre with block is 190k.
Yeah.
30k.
30k, you remove those.
You remove
Bonehead.
In the game, sure,
but...
he's movement 4, which is slow, right? Movement 4 is very slow, but he will just be 2 die blocking every turn. He's got mighty blow as well. You've got everything you want. Zug is just efficient, and he does good Blood Bowl. So I think is probably how I would describe this little bean. Oh, I just closed the window for the next guy.
Black Gobbo is next.
Yeah, the Black Gobbo, who is better than you think.
I was surprised to see this guy up here.
Yeah, me too.
We'll let you talk it out, Ben.
Okay, so the Black Gobbo is expensive for a goblin. He's what, 220k?
25.
225. That 5k is very important. Movement 6, straight 2, does stuff. He's a bombardier with disturbing presence. He's got dodge. He's got loner 3+, sidestep, which is aggravating, sneaky git, which means he can blitz foul, stab, which means he can stab you, stunty, which means he dies easier, and you can foul every turn with him and still foul with your turn, with your team. So he is a bombardier, right? I love that. He is a sidestepping stabber. I love that. And you can foul with him. He's got sneaky git, so he can run up 3 squares, stick the boot in, and then run away again. This guy just is toolkit for goblins. He just does so much stuff. You get an extra foul every turn. You can bomb stuff. And I think you will all agree with passing 3+, Bombardier is awesome. We've seen this with Snotlings, right? Fungus Flingers, just amazing. This guy, not only does he bomb things, but he can stab them as well. And he can stab them with his feet while he's running around. And you can still stab somebody else with somebody else's foot on your team. They may not be able to run around, but, you know, he is proper expensive for what you get.
Yeah, he isn't secret weapon, though, so you do get to throw bombs every drive if he stays alive.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't put him this high. I think I could if his ability to foul twice was just like a team rule by taking him. Like, the fact he has to do one of them, I'd feel less inclined to do it when he costs this much money.
Basically, every turn you are either bombing with him or fouling with him.
Yeah, I think I'd rather keep him and just be like, I'm going to use him as a bomber, but he's also going to enable my team to foul twice. I think that would be really cool.
I think,
that
again,
just price.
Like, the reason I wouldn't put him this high is because you really have to build around him as well. You know, you're having to play that fouling game, or, you know, the rest of your team has to be like capable of making those fouls in order to take on that ability. And if you're worried about like losing a player, that's not great.
To be fair, I do want to see the 32 foul game in one of the tournaments sometime.
Crazy.
Well, it was
a new challenge.
It was close, right?
Yeah, Mr. Pike.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. I take on board what you're saying. I just think he brings. I think his cost is quite expensive. And you're right. Okay, but he's bombing every turn. He's going to stab some stuff and he's going to foul some stuff. He's just the goblin version of Rambo, and I cannot not respect that. So that was number 9. Number 8 for me is another staple now. We're in Stapletown. So it's Carla von Kiel. So
yeah, I got to agree with this one.
Carla is just... Rombolo, Carla are just a really great combination because she's cheap. 210k, 6'4", Edge 3+, block, dauntless, dodge, jump up, and loner 4+. So she's blodging, strength 4 piece for 210k, and she's got the super dauntless ability as well, same as Stick Girl. So 210k is really affordable, and what you get is good stuff out of it, right? Block and dodge is so good. She is a star player, which I appreciate in a segment about star players is not the most incredible thing to say out loud.
She really is. She plays Blood Bowl perfectly.
Yeah, she's just an excellent piece of any team with her on there.
And doesn't she have some like backstory about raising pigs? So if you put her on a Norse team, it'd be really thematic.
Get in on that, I think. Next on my list, which I'm assuming now is number 7, is Wilhelm Chaney.
Oh, yes.
This guy, I really respected this dude after playing vampires with him. So against vampires, running him. Because this guy just enables them when it was the hypno gazing followed by Wilhelm. He just obliterated everything. He's so good.
I like the sound of that. A werewolf vampire team. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool.
So we just talked about Carla, 210k, strength 4, does a lot of cool stuff. Wilhelm Chaney, 220k, strength 4, does a lot of stuff. Movement 8, edge 3+, means that he's a scoring threat. Okay, movement 8 is now in fast territory. Catch means if you want to give him the ball, it's 3++ to receive. But he's a werewolf. So strength 4, claws, frenzy this guy is a movement 8 Ulfwarrener. So yes, please, with claws. And he's got wrestle as well. So this guy is an excellent everything. He's an excellent safety, and he becomes a really big scoring threat on the Sylvanian teams because he is the fastest player that they can have. And he's just an absolute beast. And 220k is affordable in those
And he's
teams.
got the regen built in as well. So he has got some, that's happened before. I've taken him out and he regen. And sucked.
The next segment's quite difficult because, of course, a lot of this depends on who they can play for. Wilhelm's limited to just Sylvanian Spotlight, which is at the moment quite a limited pool. And
oh yeah, it's a very limited pool.
It's very challenging to kind of compare him to the guys above him a little bit. But
would you take him on your Norse team, Milton?
Oof, over Scylla?
I absolutely would. You could pass to him with the Valkyries.
Yeah. Oh. I mean,
right?
Although it isn't. Yeah.
You can blitz him out onto the end zone and then lob a ball to him.
I do not know a team that would say, nah, I don't really need him.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you said, hey, Ben, would you like to run him on a Skaven team? I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I've got a gutter runner, Ulfwarrener hybrid. Boom.
You can keep up with them as well, the actual gutters.
It'd be amazing.
He's him plus 50k for a reroll. That's Griff price, and you'd take that, wouldn't you? So
and he rerolls injury rolls as well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's
which
insane.
is the only thing in the game.
I would almost put him higher, but we'll see. We'll discuss the next
once per game. When Wilhelm makes an injury roll against an opposing player, he may choose to re-roll the result. So if you drop somebody with 4 die, which is reasonable, and claws to break the armor, you then get to re-roll it. So there's a high likelihood here of a KO or a casualty. So Wilhelm is speed and strength, means he can score, and he's also removal, which means he is a massive impact on the game, and is a really important piece to those Sylvanian teams. But this dude next, which I think is number 6, is just awesome. Okay, so we've got Creek Rustgouger now. So we are in cheap territory. So Creek Rustgouger is 170k for a movement 5, strength 7, ball and chain. And I think he's got Mighty Blow as well. He might have some other stuff, but I don't.
No hands, prehensile tail, secret weapon.
Yeah, don't even care. And his special ability is that the first time he gets sent off, he doesn't get sent off. So
good.
This dude is a movement 5 Mighty Blow Ball and Chain. Now, with a ball and chain, you move around, right? So this guy is moving around 5 times. That is potential of 15 block dice without even rushing. And he's got Mighty Blow. This guy can wreck. Now, it's easy enough to work around a ball and chain, especially when there's bombardiers and wrestle dudes and all that kind of stuff, sure thing. But 170k, he is affordable, and he is going to absolutely warp the game. Warp the game with his warpstone ball.
Yeah. Okay, so it's all good, Ben. It's all good. We got you.
I mean,
no, I love him. I absolutely love him. I think he's.
Yeah, go on, Ben.
I was just going to say, movement 5, you said movement 5 and ball and chain is absolutely obscene. And I think your opponent was just like, ball and chain themselves away from the game after seeing you roll that many dice every time.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's favoured of and Underworld Challenge, just like Hackflem is, gives him all of the same teams to play for. And he's 40k cheaper. I mean, he's great, isn't he?
It's awesome. It gives you the ability to build some dumb teams as well, which is something I think is great.
I'm just looking at it. I know. I'm just looking at his card with age varies, height unpredictable, and weight depends on how much metal he has currently.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's
like
he's
anyway.
thematic as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up for me is I can't remember which one of the two dudes it is.
The Loon.
Fungus the Loon. All right. Apparently it is ball and chain season here. So Fungus the Loon, 80k, movement 4 ball and chain. Pretty sure this guy's got Mighty Blow as well. He's got the ability that once per activation, you can re-roll the scatter template. No, the throw-in template when he moves. So
really good.
So 80k, Mighty Blow Ball and Chain. I already love that. Movement 4, he has 30% more ball and chain. I love that. 33% more than before. And he gets to steer. So we've all played a game with or against ball and chains, right? And they've just circled your opponent, and it's just been really aggravating. It's like, I will kill the blitzer, and you just don't, right? Well, he's movement 4, so you get 1 extra shot at it, and you get to re-roll it. So there is a 66% chance of you hitting who you want to hit. That's not exact maths, but it's close, right? So I love him. I think he's great, and
we needed him earlier.
Yes.
Goblins needed him. He is now like a must pick with goblins.
And he's Badlands Brawl, but I don't think he's Underworld Challenge, is he?
No, he is.
He is Underworld Challenge.
Yeah.
There you go. So Skaven get him as well. So I should have probably put him higher. Because Fez Glitch was amazing. Okay, for 100k in the old edition, you could take a ball and chain. So if you were down cash against a dwarf team, you're in trouble, right? Actually, you run a ball and chain, you're going to buy yourself 4 turns while they gang up on the ball and chain and maybe lose a dude or two. 4 turns where they're focusing on somebody who's not one of your players is incredibly useful for a Skaven coach, because that is 1 touchdown, please. And yeah, love it. 80k, brilliant, and teams can probably afford a bribe with him. If you've got 170k, Creek is infinitely better, but this guy's less than half the price.
Yeah,
so
that price point just makes him so good, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we're not going anywhere for the next dude, because it is Bomber Dribblisnot. 50k? 55k? 50k.
50.
That's right. He's 50k, and a Goblin Bomber is 45k. But this dude's just amazing. I think he might even be past 3+.
He is.
He is. Yeah.
And does he have accurate?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
It's nuts, isn't it? Yeah.
I think this guy might be too low.
I think he is. I mean, this was always kind of the case, though, right? Because goblins always had these. Like, you'd have your positional and the star was the same price. Like your chainsaw and the fungus. I'm pretty sure they were all the same.
I don't think they've been this much better. So for 5k more, you get +2 to the throw-in ability. So you're 2+ quick bombing. And he's got the best ability as well, which is whenever a bomb is caught, I don't know if it's whenever. It might be once a game or something.
Once per game.
Yeah, once per game. If your opponent catches the bomb, it doesn't matter. It blows up anyway. So this dude, in 3 squares of a war dancer, 2+, and then that war dancer is knocked to the ground with Mighty Blow.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. If you are running a roster which you have the cash, I mean, you will if you're running a bomber anyway. Instead of your bomber, just take bomber. Which, I don't know, sounds confusing. But I just think he's so good. He is so good. I want to play goblins again in tournaments with bomber.
Dude, this is why I'm so excited about Torchlight dropping the rest of the Orc/Goblin team this month, is because their Goblin team looks great, and this is just a fantastic opportunity to run bomber, because 50k for just it's just filth. Absolutely love it. This guy is just amazing. But I mean, it's hard to play around as well. Like I was about to say, it's easy to play around, but it really isn't. All you can do is hope he rolls a 1 and blows himself up, because that is definitely going to happen on turn 2 when you're running bomber in game 1 at a tournament. £20 says it happens. What am I going to spend my money on? Wonderful. Right, this comes to the top 3, and it's no surprises, but the order may be contentious. Number 3 for me is the Morg and Thorg, who is somehow only £25 when Scylla is £45 or whatever. That is just
he's ancient though.
Yeah, it's an older model, isn't it?
But it checks out.
I really underrated this guy. I remember I ranked him really low because I thought he'd still be too expensive. But oh boy, I was wrong. I got absolutely wrecked by Morg in the Isle of Wight, and
Same here.
My God, he's too good. Not too good actually. I think he's very fair.
Now he's gone back up to 380. I think it definitely helps.
Yeah.
But Morg is everything you want in the way of gravitas of a star player. Like, because it's Morg. It's like, oh, it's Morg. Right? It's like when you're watching NFL and it's like, oh, they've got Tom Brady. You're like, okay, this is a thing now. Like, actually,
Tom Brady was like,
if Tom Brady was Mighty Blow +2, yeah, I would not want to be punched in the face by Tom Brady, even if he is 75 years old.
Yeah.
Morgan Thorg just has everything. He's got block, right? He's got no nega trait. He's got strength 6. He's got Mighty Blow +2, and he even throws dudes pretty well. They call him the catapult because of that, but the only thing that's going to be catapulting is your opponents to the injury bench. Nice. Beast, absolute beast. Very expensive, but just utterly top tier. Hilariously, I can't remember what my top 2 was. Okay, here we go.
Next one was your old rat friend,
Hackflem,
our favourite,
Scuttle Spike.
Wow.
The Metanator, I think, is probably an appropriate way to describe Hackflem. So you just said you got destroyed by Morg. I got the benefit of being top table in round 4 and getting destroyed by a Chaos Dwarf team with Hackflem and Morg, and if that was not enough of a star player, it was run by Wayne, who might be an actual real-life Blood Bowl star player. So, Hackflem's all right.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He's all right.
Next one.
He's just a strength 3 gutter runner with +1 to everything. The dude is great in a Snotling team. He's your blitzer, and which is wonderful when he's running around at 9 to 11 squares. He's just 1+ing everything. He can walk into 2 tackle zones and pick up the ball easy and then dodge out. This guy is just automatic.
And he's less than 200k.
I massively.
He's 210k.
Oh, of course he is now in there. Yeah.
I massively undervalued him, and I took him in the Stunty League we played, and he was just insane. Like, I mean, he just carried the whole team. I mean, I didn't have to do anything else. He just did all the work to the point where you could just dance around everything and just pick the ball up and run off and not worry about anything.
I don't think you know how good Hackflem is until you use him. He's tough to play against, but when you're playing against him, like, right, go watch that dude. When you're playing with him, it gives you infinite possibilities, and that is just something completely different. It's like
I remember using him and just thinking, just like, I just need to get the Hagflem. What I need. Oh yeah, it's 2+.
So like
2+,
Final Fantasy
2+.
Tactics and stuff, and you click on a dude and like there's some green squares and some red squares, and it shows you where you can. And then you're like, right, okay, I can move this guy here, I can move this guy here, and you click Hack for them, and you're like, oh, game's glitching because everything's green. No, that's just how he works. Like Gretchen is supposed to be the ghost.
My opponent was like, "Oh yeah, you can do that." I was like, "Really? Okay, great. I'll just do all that and walk around, use the special skill, get the ball, go into the end zone."
Like that special skill. Special skill. What's that? At the start of Hackflem's activation, if he's in base contact with the dude with the ball, he can knock the dude with the ball down, take the ball. No rolls.
Why does he have that? I don't understand why he has that.
Because he wasn't good enough.
It's insanely good, particularly if if it doesn't even matter what's got the ball. Do you know what? Creek could have the ball and he would go over and just knock him over and take it and just kill him and just walk off because it wouldn't matter.
So you know what? I take it back. When I said Grashnak is the only person that can deck Morgan Thorg, technically it's Hackflem, but only if Morg has the ball. Because he's that much of an absolute hog. So Hackflem is just S tier. But I have him ranked underneath the other guy.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on this.
So
me too. I wouldn't before, but I do now.
Oh, did you know you could buy Griff separately?
Yeah. He has his own box. Yeah.
Oh, he's only £12.50 as well. All right, well done. That's actually quite reasonable. So number one for me and probably the entire planet is Griff Oberwald, who just does everything. So Hackflem is excellent, but he's got no combat skills and he's strength 3. Imagine if Hackflem had block, right? Block is a good skill. Imagine if he had strength 4. That's also a pretty good skill. Griff's got that and more.
And a reroll.
280k, movement 7, strength 4, edge 2+, passing 3+. He throws better than anybody else. Armor 9+, block, dodge, fend. I forgot about fend. Loner 3+, just in case you need it. Sprint and short feet. So he's a movement 7 player that can really move 10 whenever he wants to. Once per game, Griff may reroll 1 dice that was rolled either as a single die roll or as part of a multiple die roll or as part of a dice pool. This dice cannot be a dice that was rolled as part of an armor, injury, or casualty roll. So the guy is just 2-die blocking everywhere, 2-die dodging almost everywhere. What he brings is he is just a superstar blitzer.
He's crazy good.
I think he's too good.
So good.
I think he really does need to be more expensive or toned down, like even just add 3+ or something like that. I think.
So when we played, and Ian had Ivar, he was using a Griff model. He was using the team I played against him at Beachhead with, and he was running Griff, and he was not Griff, and it felt it, and I kept looking at it, going, if that was Griff, that would be a 2+ dodge away. He'd have 7 squares of movement plus then 3 go for it with rerolls and a 2+ pick up on that ball and a 2-die blitz out. Like, just phenomenal. Griff is the superstar of Blood Bowl. Don't get me wrong, Hackflem will warp the game. Now he's had a cost increase. I think it's slightly fairer, but he is still amazing. Morg is an absolute tank. But Griff is the star player that is your team more than any other star, I think.
You know how you're saying, like, with Hackflem and the green squares, I feel like with Griff, the green squares extend to the game to the right of you. Like, you could literally go off and complete the other players, like the other game.
You're already eyeing up at the top table.
Yeah,
yeah, he's Hancock.
Like, I can see a ball over there. I'll probably go and get that one too.
I think it's incredible. And yeah, I actually do think he's reasonably priced. And at movement 7, he is reasonably speedy. He is
it's not just the movement 7, it's the sprint and the sure feet.
Well, he's very good across the board, whereas Hackflem is outstanding at speed. He's outstanding at dodge, right? At dash. Morg is outstanding at bash. But this guy is very good at all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Attitude Plus means he can do everything he wants to with the ball, and he's mobile, and he's fast enough, and he can stretch it if he needs to, and he can block anybody he wants to, and he's got Fend just because, and Loner 3+ because he's everybody's friend. Griff.
He's crazy. He is just like, he's up there, isn't he? And he's just not going to budge.
Yeah, maybe he needs a bit of a price increase.
I think for a lot of these teams, it's always just like you're taking another star because you don't really want to take Griff.
Well, do you know what?
That's sad and fair.
Yeah.
Something I've actually learned kind of going through this list is there are a lot of other stars out there with a lot of cool abilities that I'd like to try. And I do feel that you get a bit blinkered by the fact that, well, it's not Griff or it's not Hakflem. And
this is one thing that really is a bit chafing about the NAF tournaments. Is I believe, I might be wrong, but I know I read this at one point. This was early in the format where you cannot ban certain stars. You have to have the whole array of them. I think Milton, you're right. I think actually if you didn't have access to these 3 stars, you'd see a whole bunch of the second rank guys. And just from looking at our roster, right, you've got probably from Carla all the way down to the White Dwarf, right? They're all playable. It's just, if you can take Carla's great, right? You can take Zug is great. But if you've got 60k more, why would you not take Griff? Because he just does everything. Like Carla von Kill is excellent, but doesn't have that Attitude Plus as well, you know, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's great. I actually really approve of Griff being this good.
I mean, he is supposed to be the star, isn't he? He's like the star of the show.
Yeah, he's the Ultramarines of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's great. I actually am fine with Griff, which is why he's my number 1 over Hakflem and Morg. Who I actually think Morg is great, is fine now. I think 380 was enough of it's enough of a cost. Hakflem is probably still 30k too cheap. For my taste. But I think, Ben, you'd put this guy at 300.
I'd probably do more.
320?
Like 320, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But, you know, I think it's awesome. Now, guys, that was an absolute chunk of a section. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to be that long.
No,
but I just think star players are such a really interesting factor. And as we talked through them before, it just made sense. I'm pretty sure we haven't missed anybody off, but now they're all over the place. It is quite challenging to make. I did a video the other day and completely forgot about Acorn, which sucks because I love Acorn, but just missed that one. The Norse Spike, there's all the star players that are eligible aren't even able to fit on one page now, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's
getting quite a lot.
It's amazing.
Old classic.
But I tell you what, going through the list, I've seen a couple there that actually I think are underrated before. So actually, Scylla is something I'm going to have to look into because she might just be, they might be just an absolute murder fest. Could be really fun. And Grashnak. I'm trying to figure out what point a tournament would have to be able to fill a 5 big guy Renegades team. Which would be absolutely outrageous. But anyway, is there anything else you guys want to add on star players, or should we wrap up? Because unfortunately, it's nearly tomorrow now.
Yeah, I think it's probably good to wrap up there.
Yeah,
we'll wrap up the show.
But guys, thank you so much for jumping on. Awesome to catch up and talk Blood Bowl. We had some really good meaty topics. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
Wicked. Milton, thank you for travelling all the way over here from the Isle of Wight.
No worries.
Wonderful.
Just gotta go get my boat back now.
Right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Just let us know what you think. We covered a load on this episode. So yeah, let us know what you think. And come and join us on Thursday for the birthday Blood Bowl shenanigans. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.